All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into something pretty amazing using ChatGPT to learn a new language.
Sounds pretty futuristic, right?
Yeah, like almost too good to be true. Having this AI language tutor with you everywhere you go, personalized just for you, on your schedule.
And it's not science fiction, it's happening now.
Exactly. We are taking our cues from this blog post, Transformes su aprendizaje de idiomas con ChatGPT.
Which means?
Yeah, which translates to transform your language learning with ChatGPT.
Got you right.
I know. It was published on November 17, 2024 by Steves Jr. And let me tell you, this guy is onto something. He lays out how ChatGPT could totally change the way we think about learning languages.
Like from the ground up, almost. One of the biggest things he points out is just how practical ChatGPT is for this.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You could be on the bus practicing Italian or waiting for your, I don't know, your coffee,
right?
Brushing up on your French.
Learn on your own time.
Yeah, whenever you have a few minutes. And it's not just about convenience.
No.
The blog really highlights this idea of personalized learning.
Right, because remember those old language learning apps? You felt like you were just stuck in this rigid program, the same for everybody.
Yeah, one size fits all.
Yeah.
This is completely different.
Totally. ChatGPT can adapt to, wherever you're at, whatever your skill level is, so you're never going to feel lost or bored.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for a lot of people, feeling like the stuff's too easy or too hard.
Right, you get frustrated and give up.
Yeah, and it's like ChatGPT can tell where you're at. So say you're struggling with, I don't know, verb conjugations in Spanish.
Yeah, the bane of every Spanish student's existence.
It could whip up some exercises just for you. Just focusing on those verbs until you nail them.
Yeah, and it's not just, randomly picking exercises. It's tailoring them to you.
Yeah, it's almost like having a tutor who knows exactly what you need.
That's a great way to put it.
Speaking of tutors, the blog also talks about this. ChatGPT can give you instant feedback.
Which is something that's hard to come by.
Oh, tell me about it. Like waiting for your teacher to grade your paper or correct your pronunciation.
Ugh. The worst.
But with ChatGPT, you get that feedback right away.
Which I think is super helpful. Like, if you make a mistake, you know right away and you can fix it.
Yeah, and that helps cement it in your brain.
Yeah.
Like you're not practicing the wrong thing for days or weeks.
Exactly. It's like having this language partner who's always ready to help you with your grammar or vocabulary.
Your pronunciation.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about, feeling self-conscious.
Yeah.
Because it's just a computer.
Right. So we've got this anytime access, personalized to you, instant feedback.
Sounds pretty good already.
Already sounds amazing. But wait, there's more. The blog goes even deeper. It gives all these really creative ways you can use ChatGPT to get even better.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Okay, so one that really stood out to me was practicing conversations.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like real-world conversations.
Right, because what's the point of learning a language if you can't actually use it to talk to people?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where ChatGPT comes in. The author suggests like writing prompts that simulate those situations.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
So let's say you're planning a trip to Italy.
Okay.
You could ask it to create a dialogue for, ordering food at a restaurant in Italian.
Ah, so you could practice before you even get there.
Yeah, practice those common phrases, get comfortable with the flow.
Less pressure when you actually go.
So much less pressure, right? You could even use it for those like potentially awkward situations like, I don't know, asking for directions.
In a busy city where no one speaks your language.
Or trying to tell a taxi driver where you need to go.
Right, those high-stress moments.
Yeah.
Where you really need to know the language.
And these aren't like made-up situations.
But these are the things you'll actually need.
Yeah, real-life conversations.
The blog makes a good point that this kind of immersive practice helps you internalize the language.
Yeah, in a way that just reading from a textbook or something can't.
Right, it's not just words on a page.
It's almost like tricking your brain into thinking you're actually having those conversations.
Which I think would be really helpful for building fluency.
Yeah, and the coolest part is you can tailor those scenarios.
To your interests.
Yeah, to what you're actually going to be doing.
What you need.
So it's more engaging.
Right, it's not just some generic dialogue.
You could even, ask ChatGPT to do different dialects or accents.
Oh, wow, that's next level.
Yeah, to really immerse yourself.
Cool.
And it's not just about speaking. The blog also mentions using it as a writing coach.
Okay, now I know what you're thinking. We already have grammar checkers.
Yeah.
Right?
But this is different.
Okay, how so?
It's not just about typos or commas or whatever. ChatGPT can actually analyze your writing style.
Oh, interesting.
It can give you really detailed explanations for your mistakes and even suggest ways to improve your, overall tone.
So it's not just fixing your errors, it's helping you understand why they're errors.
Exactly. And this is where that personalized feedback comes in again.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine you write a paragraph in French
Right.
and you ask ChatGPT, can you correct this and explain what I did wrong with the grammar?
Right. Okay.
It wouldn't just give you the fixed version.
It would teach you.
Yeah, it would break it down in a way that's easier to understand and remember.
So you're not just being corrected, you're actually learning.
Exactly. It's like turning those corrections into actual learning moments. You're actively engaging with the language.
Which theoretically should lead to better writing overall.
Right. Okay, so we've got conversation practice. We've got writing help. Is there anything ChatGPT can't do when it comes to language learning?
Good question.
I'm starting to think this could be the key to actually becoming fluent in that language I've always wanted to learn.
Well, don't forget about vocabulary.
Oh, right, of course.
That's the foundation of any language, right? And the blog actually suggests some cool ways to use ChatGPT for vocab that go beyond just like rote memorization.
Hold on, are you telling me there's a way to make vocabulary learning fun? I am
Okay.
all ears.
For real? The author suggests using ChatGPT to make these like themed word lists or quizzes
Okay.
or even like little games.
Interactive games, okay.
So instead of just staring at flashcards,
Mindlessly.
right, you're actually getting a more interactive experience.
Yeah, I could see how that would be a game changer, especially for people who learn better visually
Yeah,
or, like a little competition.
exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, this kind of playful approach can really help with remembering things.
Okay, tell me more.
When you're having fun and actually engaging with the material,
Yeah,
you're way more likely to remember those new words and phrases.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we've talked about so far, it's like ChatGPT is more of a learning partner
Yeah,
than just a tool.
I like that.
It's about making it more enjoyable and helping you take control of your learning.
And removing those roadblocks, time, access to resources, even fear of messing up.
Yeah, for sure.
ChatGPT lets you, experiment and practice and get confident.
Okay, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with what we've found so far.
Me too. This is exciting stuff.
But there's one more thing in the blog that really caught my eye.
Okay, I'm ready.
Steve's Jr. He mentions these advanced techniques that I think are worth digging into.
Okay.
He specifically talks about back translation.
Back translation.
Yeah, and I'll admit it sounded a little confusing at first.
Okay.
Can you break it down for me and our listener?
Mm-hmm.
What is that, and why would you want to use it?
Sure, yeah. It might sound kind of counterintuitive,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it's actually a really clever way to uncover those subtle things about a language that you might miss otherwise.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Walk me through it. How does this actually work?
So picture this. You're learning Spanish. You've written a paragraph you want to polish up. You can ask ChatGPT to translate that paragraph into Spanish and then translate it right back into English.
Oh, okay.
So you end up with two English versions, your original and the one that's been translated back. By comparing them, you can start to see subtle differences in word choice.
Oh, interesting.
Sentence structure, even the tone.
Ah, so you're looking for those inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And figuring out why those changes were made. That could be super helpful for, understanding the finer points of grammar, especially those expressions that don't translate directly.
Right, those idioms that trip everyone up.
Exactly. It's like looking at your writing through a different lens. It helps you see both languages, your native language and the one you're learning, in a new way.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm starting to see how powerful this could be. It's not just about getting the right translation.
It's about understanding how the language works on a deeper level.
Yeah. And how it's used in different situations.
Right.
Which is really the key to fluency.
Absolutely. And, the best part is you can do this with any language pair. You could even translate something into, 3 different languages and compare them all.
Yeah, that's next level.
Yeah.
It's like we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible with ChatGPT.
I think you're right.
Okay, so to recap, ChatGPT can be your conversation partner, your writing coach, your vocabulary expander, your guide to the world of translation.
And it's personalized, it's always available, and it's changing how we learn languages.
But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to take a step back and ask ourselves what this all means for you, the listener.
Yeah, that's a good point. How can you actually start using this to reach your language goals? We'll dive into that in part 2.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited to keep talking about this using ChatGPT for language learning.
Me too. Last time we really got into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, how practical it is, the personalized approach, instant feedback.
And even those cool features like dialogue practice
Mm-hmm.
and back translation.
Pretty mind-blowing stuff.
I know, right? It feels like ChatGPT could be this game changer
For
for
sure.
anyone who wants to learn a new language.
Yeah.
But now I think it's time to get practical.
Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks.
What does all this mean for you, our listener? How can you use this to actually make progress?
Yeah, because some people might be thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but where do I even start?
Right. It can feel overwhelming.
Definitely.
Hmm.
It's like having this incredible tool, but no instruction manual.
So let's break it down into some steps.
Mm.
First things first, you got to define your goals.
Right. What language do you want to learn?
Yeah. And why? What are you hoping to achieve?
Because having a clear vision will help you, tailor those ChatGPT prompts.
Yeah, and make sure you're getting what you need from it.
Exactly. Are you learning Spanish to travel South America?
Or are you brushing up on German for a business trip?
Right. Your why will shape your how.
Okay, so you've got your goals. Now what?
Now it's time to play around with ChatGPT.
Experiment.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try things out.
Think back to those scenarios we talked about.
Right.
Like maybe you want to practice ordering coffee in Italian.
We're asking for directions in Japanese.
Plug those into ChatGPT and see what happens.
See what it comes up with. That's what's so great about this tech. It's so personalized.
Yeah, you're not stuck with some preset curriculum.
Create your own language adventure.
I love that. Your own
Yeah.
language adventure. And remember, the more specific your prompts, the better the responses will be.
Right. Don't just say, give me some vocabulary words.
Yeah, ask for words related to your hobbies or your job or where you're traveling.
Or ask for dialogue that sounds like
Yeah, reflects your personality.
Yeah, that you would actually say.
You could even ask ChatGPT to role play.
Oh, that's fun.
Like if you're learning French and you love French cinema,
Okay, yeah.
you could ask it to have a conversation with you like you're a character from your favorite movie.
That's awesome. Like you're bringing those characters to life.
Exactly. And as you're doing all this, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. Mistakes are part of the process.
Yeah, they're how we learn.
In fact, you can even use ChatGPT to analyze your mistakes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like ask it, why is this sentence wrong?
Or what's the difference between these two verb tenses?
Use its knowledge to help you figure things out.
Turn those aha moments into learning experiences.
I like that.
And as you get better, don't be afraid to push yourself a little.
Right. Step outside that comfort zone.
Try those advanced techniques.
Back translation, maybe tackle a really complex text.
You might surprise yourself with how much you can do.
It's all about consistent practice, right?
Yeah.
And staying engaged. And I think that's one of the best things about ChatGPT.
It can help you stay motivated.
For sure. It breaks down those big, scary tasks into smaller pieces.
Yeah, and it gives you encouragement along the way.
It's like your own personal cheerleader. So what are some ways listeners can actually use it to stay motivated?
Yeah, what tips do you have?
Well, remember, ChatGPT can create all kinds of custom learning materials.
So it's not just about those boring drills and exercises.
Not at all.
Wait, are you telling me there's a way to make grammar fun?
I am.
Okay, I need to hear this.
Imagine asking it to make a vocab quiz based on your favorite show,
Oh, okay.
or a grammar game that tests you on those verb conjugations.
So it's like gamifying language learning,
Exactly.
making it feel less like work.
Way more fun.
I bet that makes a huge difference when it comes to actually remembering stuff.
Oh, for sure. When you're enjoying it, you're going to retain so much more.
And another thing that can really help with motivation is connecting with other learners.
Right, because learning a language on your own can feel isolating.
Super isolating.
But what if you could use ChatGPT to find conversation partners?
Okay.
Or join study groups online, or even participate in those language exchanges?
It's like having this built-in community right there in your pocket.
Right, available anytime.
And ChatGPT could even help facilitate those interactions, like by providing conversation prompts.
Giving you things to talk about.
Or even real-time translations.
Wow.
It's taking that solo learning experience and turning it into something more collaborative.
I love that.
And don't forget about the power of storytelling.
Oh, that's a good one.
Using ChatGPT to create stories in the language you're learning.
Yeah, give it a basic plot or some characters and it helps you flesh it out.
It could even give you feedback as you go.
And you could even write a story with other learners.
Collaborate.
Yeah, make it a group project.
That's so cool.
It's
It's like
it.
combining language learning with creative writing.
Which, let's be honest, is way more fun than just doing exercises.
And you're learning without even realizing it.
Exactly, sneaking that knowledge in there.
So we talked about a lot of individual strategies, but what about the bigger picture?
Right, how is this going to change the world of language learning?
It's a big question.
I mean, imagine a world where language barriers barely exist,
Whoa.
where anyone can talk to anyone else no matter what language they speak.
That sounds like a utopian dreams.
It does, right? But it might not be so far off. Think about what that would mean for travel.
Business, education, international relations.
Everything.
It could change the world.
It really could. And it's not just about practical stuff either.
It's about understanding other cultures.
Right, breaking down those barriers between people.
When you learn a new language, you're learning a whole new way of thinking.
It's true.
It's like opening a window into a different world.
And I think ChatGPT can help make that experience more accessible for everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are the key takeaways?
What do you want listeners to remember?
What should they take away from this?
I would say this. ChatGPT is a powerful tool, but it's up to you to make it work for you.
Don't be afraid to get creative, to experiment.
And most importantly, have fun.
Yes, language learning should be fun.
And with ChatGPT, it can be.
But like with any powerful tool, there are some things to be cautious about.
Some potential pitfalls to watch out for.
We'll explore those in part 3.
So stay with us.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive. We've been exploring the amazing world of using ChatGPT to learn new languages.
We've talked about all the incredible potential, how it can personalize your learning, boost your motivation.
But now it's time to get real, right?
Yeah, time for a reality check.
We've got to talk about the other side of the coin.
Right, because no tool is perfect.
So what are some things listeners should watch out for when using ChatGPT for language learning?
Well, one of the biggest things is accuracy.
Okay, right, because ChatGPT is super smart.
But it's still a machine.
It's not human.
It can make mistakes, especially with tricky grammar, idioms, those specialized words.
So don't just take everything it says as the absolute truth.
Right. Always double check.
Yeah. Do your own research.
Use your own judgment.
See if what it's telling you actually makes sense.
Think of it like a calculator.
Okay.
It can do amazing things with numbers.
Yeah,
But you still need to understand the math behind it.
right. To use it properly.
Exactly. And speaking of understanding, another thing to keep in mind is relying too much on ChatGPT could actually slow down your learning.
Interesting. How so?
Well, things like critical thinking, problem solving, figuring things out on your own, those are all super important for becoming fluent.
Right. You can't just rely on a tool to do all the work for you.
Exactly. If you're always asking ChatGPT for the answers,
Yeah.
you might not develop those skills as well.
So it's about finding that balance, using ChatGPT to help you along the way.
But not letting it do all the thinking for you.
Right. You're still in the driver's seat.
You got it. Another concern that comes up a lot is, what about creativity?
That's a good one.
If you're always relying on ChatGPT to give you suggestions, does that limit your own ability to express yourself?
Yeah, your own unique voice.
Exactly. And this is something to think about with any AI, not just in language learning.
So how do you avoid that trap?
I think the key is to use it as a starting point for inspiration.
Not the finished product.
Right. So instead of asking it to write a whole essay for you,
Okay.
maybe you use it to brainstorm ideas.
Or get feedback on one specific part you're stuck on.
Exactly. Think of it as a brainstorming partner,
It can help you push your ideas further.
but you're still the one creating.
And remember, language is so much more than just grammar and words.
It's about expressing yourself,
Connecting with people.
experiencing other cultures.
Don't let technology get in the way of that human element.
Couldn't agree more. And that brings up another really important point. Cultural sensitivity.
Oh, right, because language and culture are so closely tied together.
They're inseparable, so it's crucial to be mindful of those differences when you're communicating.
ChatGPT can be a great resource for learning about those cultural norms.
Oh, absolutely. But it's not a substitute for actual experience or talking to real people.
Right. Be respectful, be open to learning, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
If something seems confusing or you're not sure how to say something,
Yeah, just ask.
better safe than sorry.
It's so easy to get excited about new technology,
Yeah, we all love shiny new things.
but we can't forget that human connection is at the heart of language learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
ChatGPT is an amazing tool,
It really is.
but we need to use it wisely and ethically.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the takeaway?
What should our listeners remember?
Be critical, don't believe everything you see, and don't rely on it too much.
Use it to enhance your learning, not replace it.
And most importantly, have fun.
Language learning should be an adventure.
It really should.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of ChatGPT and language learning.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those language goals in sight.
Happy learning, everyone.